Hi, I'm Rob with Ski City Woodworks. I need to make some dowels out of square stock today, so I'm just going to show you how I like to make wood dowels on my router table insert that I built for my rigid contractor saw. Alright, so I'm just going to show you real quick how I set this up. So here I have a half round over bit in the router table. I recently started using the bull nose or half round over bit over a quarter round bit, just because you only need to take 2 passes through the router table versus 4 passes, so it saves quite a bit of time. And so I'm going to turn this square stock into a dowel. When I go through with the half round bit, I can just make 1 pass there, flip it over, make 1 pass there, and then I have a round dowel versus the 4 passes needed with the quarter round over bit. So the first thing I do to set this up is I just use a straight edge and I go up against, on the bottom of my table, and I make sure that I'm just barely hitting the bottom of the router bit with that, because I just want the router bit to take just a little bit off my square stock. The square stock is milled pretty meticulously to 3/4 by 3/4 for a 3/4 inch dowel. Then I take this up against the straight edge up against the back fence, hold it nice and snug, and what I want is just like a planer knife. I just want it to take the straight edge and just lift it up just a little bit, move it forward and set it back down. That means it'll just be taken just a fraction of an inch off of the square dowel, leaving me with a 3/4 inch dowel. Alright, so the next thing I do, I have tons of feather boards on here, as you can see. What I do is I just set them up for my 3/4 by 3/4 stock. So I like to have a good feather board pushing it against the backstop, feather board at the beginning, making sure that it stays down against the bottom of the router table. And then I do the same thing here on the back side. Make sure it stays nice and tight on the outfeed. And then I'm ready to send one through. So the next thing I do is I take a piece of scrap and I test it. As you can see on this piece, I have just a little bit of a ridge on the test piece on the top. So what I'm going to do is just raise the router bit just a little bit to try to get rid of that ridge. All right, so as you can see, I now have a bunch of usable dowels. Most of them are pretty good. They're pretty round. They'll just need a little bit of sanding to knock off a few of the tiny ridges that are on them. You'll also notice if you use this method that sometimes at the end you'll just get a little bit of a ridge because the dowel will kind of roll because there's no flat edge to surface on the router table anymore. So I just make the dowels a little bit longer so I can get rid of this little bit of, it's kind of like planer snake. But yeah, other than that, hopefully this video is helpful.